Hello, happy Wednesday, and happy National Women's History Month. I thought today would be a great day to chat about women and can women have it all? And after all the time we've been, progressing what we think is equality, where are we today? And I really wanted to share this with somebody who I think is a talk about can we have it all? Beth Greve. Beth is a close friend and somebody I've always admired. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Thanks for joining me.
Well, you're welcome. I brushed my hair for you.
I love it. I love it. It's
Put on
awesome.
my lipstick. Thank you. It's been a while.
Did you have power?
Oh, yeah, I have power.
Oh, we lost power. I was like, oh,
really?
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, it's a good thing you charged your phone last night.
Yeah, exactly. And
On
I
it.
didn't do anything else so that I made sure I had a phone. My phone was fully charged, but luckily it came back on. So it's all
Awesome.
good.
Awesome.
I was just kind of setting up the call and talking about, it's Women's History Month.
Yes.
And I was thinking about, really how far have we come or maybe not come? And how do we really balance, work life? And I think, when I think of you, my perception has always been, you are like a badass. You can be the C-suite woman. You've got the family. You've got teenage boys. You can surf standing on your head. I mean, like you can do it all. And it looks easy. And I know it's not, but I think perception is one part, but what are the things that we often do? And I've heard people say this about me, like it looks like I can do all of these different things.
Like you're superhuman.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But there's choices, right? There's choices. There's things we decide to do.
Yeah.
And kind of what are those payoffs? And I just wanted to kind of talk about it. I mean, it's the month where we're supposed to be celebrating women. We're in a pandemic. And what is it? Since the 2 million women had to leave the workforce. So are we really doing that well?
Yeah. Well, there's actually been studies. When I was at Google, we had a Women at Google the group, right? And for this exact purpose, because women are much more practical, and this was through the study with McKinsey, where they actually interviewed women and said, okay, great. The women are equal in the workforce. We do really well. And then when we get to the mid-tier, we do okay. And then we get to the senior executive suite, we're not doing so hot. Some of that is based on outside factors, and some of that's based on ourselves, related to things you just mentioned. We have kids at home. We have we're juggling a lot of things all the time. And sometimes we question whether or not we can take on more at the office, so to speak. And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine who was on maternity leave at Google, and her manager got another job. And so the manager position was available. She had incredible experience. And she and I had a conversation while she was on maternity leave. And I said, well, that's your job. You need to apply for that. And she was like, what, are you kidding me? I'm on maternity leave and da-da-da. And I said, well, let me ask you this. If you don't apply, because again, it was being practical. I just had another baby. I have to manage all this stuff. How am I going to do it? I said, look, you're already doing it. You're a senior executive. You're already doing the job. You did the job before you left. I said, you should apply for it. Worst case scenario, you can make that decision later. And she applied for the job. She got the job. And she was like, you were right. I am so glad you told me to do that, because I wouldn't have applied. I would have a boss right now and I would be frustrated because that's my job. And I think what we all have to do is lift each other up to challenge ourselves and say, we can do this. We can take this on. And we have an infrastructure of friends and mentors and a support group that's going to help us do it. Yeah, I like seeing the hearts. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And I think, it's support, and not just from other women, but from wherever you work.
That's right.
And being able to finally say, you know what, if this isn't working for me, again, it goes back to making different choices. I mean, when I look back through my career, so many of the choices that I made when I decided to have a family was based on where I was. And then little things like when Nick was going to go to preschool, I chose the preschool in the building, right? Because then I could go at lunchtime and look down and see what he's doing at recess.
Yeah, check it out. Totally.
You know what I mean? But those are all of the choices along the way that we decide to make, that because you should be able to do it all, right? You should be able to figure out how to do that. And
Yeah.
today with technology, right? You don't need to be sitting at your desk to get work done.
No, I'm gonna disclose a few secrets. Many of us have been, working from home on these Zoom calls, and that, I was on a call last night and I disclosed that I can either go on, take my screen off, or you guys are going to be with me in the kitchen because I got a kid who's got soccer practice at 7:00 and I have to feed him before 6:30. And I'm going to do this call with you and you're going to watch me, grill chicken and make broccoli slaw. And they were like, okay, great, let's do it. And, there's something to be said about just being honest. I mean, yes, dinner time. Exactly. When I was at Google, and my kids were younger, I was one of the only female executives. And you, Lisa, you might have been in this situation too. I'm at this, uber young company, and I come in and I have a baby at home, 9 months old. And this is when you got 6 weeks off, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. The kid's 8 weeks and I'm on the phone and breastfeeding and, but fast forward, I was leaving the office at 5:00 and I had a team of people and they were all younger and none of them had children. And I said, between 5 and 7, I am totally off. You will not be able to reach me. However, I'll be back. If something's urgent, I'll get to you at, 7:15. And for a while, and it worked, and my clients knew it. And I was complete full disclosure. Hey, this is my situation. And they all appreciated it. And they knew that I would be there for them afterwards. Fast forward, probably like 6 or 7 years later, all of these young women that were on my team had babies.
Oh,
and
wow.
Single one of them called me and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, I don't think I ever told you this, but I was like, why is Beth leaving the office at 5:05? I mean, like, I'm still here and blah, blah, blah. And they said, I carried this grudge, even though we had a great working relationship. I had no idea. Our team crushed it. We made we hit our numbers. It was awesome. However, they said to me, oh my God, I had no idea. I had no idea what you were going through. And in the back of my mind, I kept saying, what's the deal? And now I know. Help me. How did you do it? I'm struggling. And it was, I felt awesome that I could help them figure out how to juggle all of it, manage it. I call it, I like to call it the integration station because it's not balance. That's for sure.
You know what? That's actually such a good way of putting it. It's really about how do you integrate all of the different parts of yourself, even if you don't have a family and you're just getting married, getting into the groove of that. Maybe you have parents or family members that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
It's this idea that, or even self-care, like the things that we love to do that make us who we are beyond working, like all of that has to be sort of integrated. What do you tell people when they ask you for that type of advice?
So my husband likes to tell this very hilarious story of me wearing a baby and doing curls with soup cans. And it is all true. People ask me often about the one thing that is really important to me is fitness and wellness. And those of you that know me know that I enjoy it. I look at it like recess. I have a good time. I figure out, Lisa and I go on walks together. So instead of having coffee or a glass of wine or whatever, we book our meeting time and getting together around, doing power walks. I also
I love.
Which we love. And then I also do the same thing. If I have 15 minutes and that's all I have in the morning, I will actually, drop and roll and do, 15 minutes of abs. And then I'll do 15 minutes later of something else. And you don't need, it's really difficult for all of us to always find the exact amount of time to like, oh, I have an hour, I'm going to do that. And I think Peloton embraced that in a huge way.
I love that.
Right. Don't kill yourself. If you don't have an hour, if you only have 20 minutes, if you only have 10 minutes, figure out how to do it and what to do. I have always been very self-motivated that way. But at the same time, if you're not, there's a tremendous amount of help for free. YouTube is awesome.
Exactly.
Oh my God. It's great. It's a gift that keeps on giving. And Yoga with Adrienne is one of my faves. but you know, it just takes a little bit. I used to, when I had babies, I used to do sit-ups with the babies on my legs, and airplane, and then you do airplane squats, like, woo, we're playing airplane, and you would do airplane squats. And you know,
I was
I
not
was
that motivated.
yeah, I was like a running mommy and me at my house all the time. I should have yeah. So it's you just always have to have fun with it. You know, don't always think like, oh God, I'm working out, it sucks. You just have
Yeah.
to do something that makes you have fun. Hula hoop with your kids in the living room, have a dance party, you know.
Dance party,
Yeah,
definitely. That's a good one.
exactly.
Now, when you look back though through your career and you think through some of the trade-offs that you had to make, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. It's a lot of that. Were there any situations that you thought were more difficult than others? Did it depend on where the company, did it depend on who you worked for, things like that?
Yeah, I think I definitely am one who takes risks. And if I'm not slightly uncomfortable, then I'm not pushing myself. So I do think about that and respect it. At the same time, we all have made mistakes, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely made one at one point where my immediate boss was spectacular, and yet his boss, and it was a bi-coastal role, and my immediate boss was like, don't worry about it. You don't have to go to New York once a week. It's not a big deal. And then his boss was like, no, you need to be here every single solitary week. And I had two kids, and that was not part of the drill. And ultimately, I ended up leaving that job for a totally different reason. But I had this great rapport with my immediate boss, and he supported me and he was there for me. And we had a really honest conversation about deliverables. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, we have to we have to be able to approach and challenge those that have maybe old school philosophy. You know, you
Yeah.
need to be here in order to get it done, or I need to see your face in the meeting, or yada yada. And the reality is that is not performance. I had another situation at a startup where I I get this phone call. Hey, I just walked down the hallway, and it was 6:15, and I left a message, and I noticed you're not here. You know, let's catch up tomorrow morning. So first thing in the morning, I go to my, you know, the C levels off. My boss, I was a C level myself. I went to the president's office and I said, so what's going on? Well, how can I help you? What's up? And he said, well, you know, same thing. I went to your office yesterday, and it was 6:15, and you weren't there. And I said, oh, well, how can I help you? What do you need? And it didn't answer the question. And I finally said, what's up? And he said, well, you know, I would expect you to be in the office at 6:15. And I said, okay, pause. Am I performing? Is my team delivering? We were
Yeah.
hitting our numbers. We were delivering for our clients. We were getting thank you notes. I mean, we were doing incredibly well. And I said, if this is a punch in, punch out, it's not going to work for me. I said, I didn't
Yeah.
come to punch in and punch out. I came here to perform and hit our numbers and challenge myself and this company to grow. And I just approached it dead on. And he looked at me and said, okay, well, you know, I'm going to keep an eye. And I said, absolutely. We meet every week. Let's talk about it every week. And sure enough, I was there for a long time. And it wasn't an easy conversation to have, because I think that little voice, that, you know, that little insecurity voice shows up.
Yeah.
You have to hit it head on and say, you know what? I am doing what I'm supposed to do. I am performing. My team is efficient. We're hitting our numbers. And, you know, and if I have a challenge, then I'll talk to my boss and work on it. But this is not about punching in and punching out. This is about getting the work done. And by the way, we're all working more than the usual 8 hours.
Exactly.
So if you take your 2 hours off to go home and have dinner with your kids and put them to bed, you should. And then you just jump back on and get done what you have to get done.
Well, what I love
The
about that
hearts.
is,
I have to say, I love the hearts, because it means I'm
yes, exactly. Yes.
yeah, they're getting it.
And that's what my friend Sean, who I love, he's very supportive.
And
So
that's, by the way, there are so many awesome men out
oh,
there who
absolutely.
get it too, and they appreciate your honesty. And those that don't are not the ones you're going to work for. And women too. There's some women that aren't like this, because they've sacrificed so much and they take it personally. And you know, we need to help them too. We need to help them understand that this is okay, and they can take some time out for themselves, whatever that is, if it's their kids or it's their wealth, health and wellness, whatever it may be. We all need to be there for each other.
Well, what I really love is that you didn't let the, oh my God, I'm in trouble, I've done something wrong, I wasn't there at 6:15,
Yeah.
that sort of guilt, that sort of almost like a shame, like,
Yeah.
right? You instead, you stopped and you said, whoa, that has nothing to do with, that's not why
Right.
you're hired. You're not hired to sit there at your desk. You're hired there to deliver results, to get something done. And I would say that's one thing I would always recommend is, start, if you notice that expectations are changing and it has to do with things that are not results related, being able to go in and have that conversation with your boss. I feel like most people are, if you're honest about your situation and the things that you need to do and the priorities, most people that I've experienced in my career have been very understanding, because not everyone also does their best work between 9 and 5. There are people who do their best work at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
There are people who are night people and they do their best work at, like, we should be looking at, if we need to get things done, when is the person's peak performance hours, right? Like, if that's when you get your best work done, do it then, and have the flexibility to do other things.
I couldn't agree more. And those managers that accept people, you always remember when we always do those charts, like what color are you and what kind of,
Yeah.
because you want to have a diverse team. You don't want to have everyone the same color with the same skill sets. You have to have diversity. And that diversity comes with a bit of chameleoning yourself as a manager as well. You're going to have hard and fast rules, sure, but it doesn't have to be hard and fast rules the entire 24/7, right?
Yeah.
And it is about delivering results, and each person is going to deliver a result in their fashion as long as you're hitting the goalposts and
Yeah.
you're scoring enough to win, then everybody wins. And I do, Lisa, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's, and hopefully now with COVID
Yeah.
and us working from home, people are learning how to do it, because some not so good at it, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you would give somebody a Friday and be like, oh, it's a work from home Friday. And then you never get an email or
Yeah.
they miss every call. And you're like, oh, I thought you were working from home.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now we've figured out to get right. We've all seen it. And you're like,
Yeah, it's true.
reel it back in, reel it back in. Um, but that takes learning too, because not everybody is good at that. They get easily distracted, and it's a learning curve for all of us. So, and that's management skills too. I think, one thing I've always said to my team is, I will offer you the flexibility that you need, but if you take advantage of it and you're not
Yeah.
delivering, then you own it.
Yeah.
So if it works, great. If it doesn't, then you're moving on. And
Yeah.
it's a thing, just having, as a manager, having that honest dialogue with your team, and then being able to do the same thing with your boss, which always is, a lot harder.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, when I think about the younger generations, right? People who even are starting their careers during pandemic, where they are working from home, maybe they've been remote for a long time. Their expectation right now is all about flexibility. It makes me wonder, like, what is it going to be like when our kids have jobs? Like, I hope that they see that, I was working, but I was still at the baseball game, that they respect that, because they saw that in their own parents, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wonder what does that move forward when we look.
Yeah, when you see Rachel Tipograph is a friend, and she's the CEO of Micmac, and she's young, and Forbes 30 under 30, et cetera. And she early on, very early on, almost back in April, was like, okay, great, we're going to hire people from all over the world, and you can work at Micmac, and you don't have to come to the office, and we're going to be virtual. I mean, that was early, right? And she
Wow.
was
Yeah.
CEO. And I've seen more and more young CEOs and young leaders pull that, which is great, because that's what these people are expecting. They want to have, the flexibility, and they want to have a boss that understands where they're coming from. The same way that they want to make the world a better place. Thank goodness, because we all need that. But it's great. It's great to see young leadership in that sense really embrace the opportunity, and teach their teams about responsibility, and how to be effective in the workplace when you're working from home. when your room is zooming, as I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I think about like, you know, the idea for everyone to be in that office, right? That's when you got the ping pong tables and the
Right.
beer machine
Yeah.
and
So
all the
people,
stuff. Yeah, so people would always want to stay. And I think about that investment, which would be so much better investing in. I mean, I guess some young people, I mean, obviously it makes sense. You do want community and you want all of that. I absolutely get that. And I do think you still need that when you're working.
yeah.
But to invest in this idea that I can get what I need, not outside of the actual office, to fulfill some of that, the fun and the community and all of that as well. Like this idea that it can be a balance. Like you don't just have to be stuck in someone's office,
Yeah.
or
But
create it so that you never want to leave the office.
well, and also the other thing is back to the integration station, right? Which is
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be all or nothing ever.
Yeah.
It doesn't you balance it the way that works best for you and works best for your team. So there's going to be days where, hey, the whole team's going to come in and we're going to, we're going to brainstorm and we're going to plan out our, Q2 strategy, et cetera. And then there's going to be days where everybody's going to have heads down and working on their own to get the job done. So I think back to fully integrating your work life, there's integration there, and then there's integration with your personal life. So it's just a constant way to, continue to function.
Yeah,
Really.
no, definitely. And I
Yeah.
was going to ask you about, I noticed that you have been doing stuff with the American Heart
Oh,
Association and
yeah.
Rock Your Recess. Tell us a little bit about that and what is that?
So unfortunately, I suffered a stroke, and which was the symptom of a heart condition called a PFO. And this happened when I was 49. And it's a PFO. It's actually when you're born, when you're inside your mom's womb, basically, when you're in the womb, you are fed through the umbilical cord, which goes through the two ventricles of your heart. When you're born, the umbilical cord dies off and there's a flap between the two ventricles of your heart and it closes. Well, in over 20% of people on the planet, that flap does not close. And that flap could close 80%, 20%, or not at all. And it means that on every breath, it's possible for this flap to open. Well, mine was a 5+ out of 5 and opened on every breath for my entire life.
Which is crazy given what an athlete you are.
I know.
But,
The Alps, college gymnast,
I mean, it's crazy to me.
And so a blood clot went through that hole and straight up to my brain, and I suffered a stroke, which is the symptom of this heart condition, which is crazy to me. Like, we should be testing for this. It's called the bubble test, for those of you out there seeing your cardiologist. And I went in and had it repaired subsequently, and here I am, thank goodness. So I feel very fortunate to be alive and not have any effects, after effects, so to speak. And I want to tell my story, because the more I tell my story, the more people realize that heart conditions are not only people that are smoking or in bad shape and don't take care of themselves. Like 1 in 3 women suffer a heart condition, and we need to pay attention and we need to help each other. And we also need to have better self-love and self-care, because often, like, oh yeah, I'm getting this, including me. I was reffing a soccer game for AYSO, and I had this like little blurred vision on my right side for like a minute, drank a bunch of water. I was like, oh, I'm dehydrated. I'm not paying attention. I'm guilty, right? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Then I lost a little peripheral vision. I was like, oh, it's hot, whatever. And I should have immediately gone to the ER and said, this is what's going on, because everything that I was going through was part of my slow seeping stroke. And so I'm so thankful to be a woman of impact for AHA, to share my story, to help raise money so that procedures like mine, but my PFO procedure, which was all robotics, super awesome.
Wow.
Are approved. I mean, they spend more money, billions every year, on research, wellness, helping the underprivileged and others that don't have the same access that we do to stay heart healthy. So I'm here to tell you all, get active, rock your recess,
Yep.
hashtag.
I
And that's why
cannot
my
believe that
platform is
story.
really about wellness and prevention, right? Go out there, be active, stay in shape, get heart healthy, pay attention. It will save your life and others. And if someone calls you and says they're feeling a little off, because with women, we are guilty of being tired because we do a lot, juggle a lot of things. And when you're tired multiple days in a row, exhaustion is actually a symptom of a heart condition. So pay attention.
Really? That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Isn't it? Because you're like, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I'm tired.
Well, right. And the next thing, and so, go to your regular checkups, go to your cardiologist and make sure that you check and pay attention.
Did they find something like this through like blood tests or anything? Like how, I can't believe
Yeah.
that it went that long.
Yeah, you can find out about your PFO. Okay. It's called, I call it the bubble test.
Right.
It has a, Dr. M would not be happy with me right now, but what they do is they put an IV in your arm and an ultrasound over your heart, and they shoot teeny tiny bubbles into your bloodstream. And then if in the two ventricles, one ventricle is where everything comes in and is cleaned out, goes through all the pipes. If the bubbles go through to the other ventricle, you have a PFO. You have this hole. Okay. So it's just streaming right through there, and it's not getting filtered, so to speak. And it can be done in the cardiologist's office. It's not a big deal. And it is something, and it's hereditary. So the thing is, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't make it through this. If your stroke is severe, I mean, I remember the year I found out about my PFO, John Singleton died and Luke Perry died within the first 3 months of me finding out. And I was like, and they both died of a stroke, and they were both 50. Like I was 49. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if they both had PFOs. I wonder if they didn't, because having a stroke at 50 is really rare. And a PFO is the number one cause of stroke. The number one cause of a stroke is the condition that I had. So
that's so interesting. I know somebody who had a stroke recently, a woman.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah. Wow. That's just.
Go get it checked out. Yep. And it's completely preventable. Completely preventable. I chose not to do blood thinners because I hate them. But I had mine closed because mine was so big. And at 49, when you have one, you have double the chances of having another one the next day. Next year. Yeah, the next day. No, the following. So got to go get it checked out and get fixed and stay active.
Enjoy. And so that's why the Rock the Recess is really this idea that we don't have to be in school to have a recess, right? It goes back to what we were talking about, the 5 or 10 minutes just to do something for yourself, whether it's meditate, whether it's lift some weights, whether it's go for a walk.
Play tennis. So the philosophy is, remember when we were kids and you could not wait for recess? You're like, oh, I'm going to jump rope. I'm going to play dodgeball. I'm going to chase boys. I'm going to climb the whatever it is you're going to do.
I did that one.
And then you're like, okay, so think about recess today as an adult. What is it that's going to be fun for you? How are you going to enjoy yourself? I mean, it doesn't have to feel like a gym, right? If you like to play Frisbee, or you want to kick a soccer ball, or you want to play tennis, or you like to dance, or you want to do yoga, or you're going to watch your kid's soccer game and you're going to jump up and down for an hour. I mean, just go enjoy yourself and have recess and have fun with it. And that's going to help you stay healthy and be well. And do it with your friends, right? Like Lisa and I go for our walks, grab a friend and have some fun, ride your bikes, walk in the rain, puddle jump.
Yeah, exactly. And
think about it like a kid, and then you'll be like, oh wait, I did love recess. What is it that I want to do now? And go do it.
Which goes back to the full circle of this idea of integration, right? In order to really have the lives we want, being able to integrate what we consider fun, what we consider, whether it's the healthy part of it, it could be, community, friendships, all of those things make us a more well-rounded person. And balancing all of that with our careers, whether you're a working mom, or a working woman of any kind,
or working dad.
Or working dad, yes. Yep. Because it was Women's History Month. I was going a little more on the women's side, but yes.
I know we get like that. Us girls get together. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Badass women. Yeah.
I love it. Somebody wants to play dodgeball with people
Yeah,
I dislike. I love
oh, that
that.
you dislike. Take it to the remember when we used to, I don't know about you guys, but I used to take my kids to those trampoline joints and they had dodgeball and they always wanted to play with their parents so they could whip them with dodgeballs. They could nail us with dodgeballs.
Oh, that's
Dodgeball's fun.
funny. It's
It
true.
is.
I remember the advertising community used to have a dodgeball game.
Oh my God, I never.
I think LA. Yeah, I never went because I'm sure people would want to hit me.
All I can think about is who's the actor that did the dodgeball movie that was hilarious?
Oh, I don't know.
Ben. No. Oh my God, he was in Something About Mary too.
Oh, I know. Ben
Oh my
Stiller?
God, brain fart. Somebody
Ben
text
Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's all I can think about when I think about dodgeball. Ben Stiller. Oh my God, it was so fun.
I love
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you for letting me share my story, and thanks to everybody for tuning in. And remember to be active. Oh, now they're coming in. Jim's like, it's Ben Stiller.
yeah, better late than never.
Be well. Hashtag rock your recess. And if you want a walking partner, hiking partner, biking partner, play tennis, give me a call because I'll be there for you.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Beth. I really appreciate
Thanks, Lisa. Good to see
it. All
you.
right. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.